If you don't like the idea of making homemade mayonnaise with raw eggs, stick around, check out this recipe. This might just be for you. What's up everyone? Just Jason here. This week on the channel, we are going to make a different version of mayonnaise, I guess you would call it. This is kind of a viral video that's been going around for a while on places like Instagram. And recently, Anita over at Ketogenic Woman did a video about this with her version of it. I'll leave a link to that video down in the description below. So I thought I'd give it a try. I've never tried this before. I am changing up a little bit of the recipe from what Anita did, and I'm adding a couple of things. So we'll give it a try. This isn't your typical mayonnaise recipe, which is mostly oil, like an avocado oil kind of thing with one egg. This is more egg based. As you can see, I've got 3 hard-boiled eggs here. And then we're going to add 2 tablespoons of avocado oil, which I have here. I prefer avocado oil over olive oil for recipes like this because it doesn't have as strong a flavor. So we're going to use the avocado oil. For the acid, we're going to use 2 tablespoons of fresh lemon juice, and then I may even zest some lemon zest into it as well. We've got some salt and pepper. This is just some Redmond's real salt and fresh cracked black pepper. This is going to be to taste. You know, I probably got half a teaspoon of salt and 1/4 teaspoon of pepper here. And then one thing I'm going to add, other than the usual mayonnaise ingredient, which is mustard. You can use sort of any kind of mustard you want. Just watch the ingredients in it, make sure there's no seed oils in it. I'm going to add a teaspoon of dill here as well, just the dried dill weed. I just thought it would go well with the lemon and go well with this recipe basically. So what we'll do is we'll get set up. We're going to blend it all in the Ninja blender this week. I don't know if you can see it here. It's just a small blender. Normally I would use an immersion blender in a jar to make mayonnaise, but this is going to take a bit more room. So let's get set up here and we'll start putting this recipe together. Okay, so we've got most of our ingredients ready to go here. I did get some zest off of that lemon, and I have about 2 tablespoons of fresh lemon juice here. Wound up being about half of a lemon. The only other thing I forgot to mention at the start is we do need a little bit of water, so I've got a tablespoon of water here. If we need more, we can add some more afterwards. And then I've got my Ninja blender bowl here. So we're going to start by adding 3 boiled eggs to the bowl here. Now hopefully this blender is actually a little bit small, so we may have to cut up the eggs a little bit here, just so they can sit down in the blender a bit. So we'll just cut them in half, kind of thing. Doesn't really matter; they're all going to get blended up anyways. So, like I say, we've got 3 large eggs here that I hard boiled. I'm definitely no expert on hard boiling eggs. If anyone has a surefire way of getting good quality hard boiled eggs, leave a comment down in the comment section below. I always struggle to make good hard boiled eggs that will peel easily, but I digress. Anyways, so we've got our eggs in here. We'll add our 2 tablespoons of avocado oil into here. Then we're going to add our 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. Now you could use apple cider vinegar or even just straight vinegar for the acid. It doesn't have to be lemon juice. I just have some lemons around that I needed to use up anyways, so I figured we might as well put lemon in this recipe. So I'm going to add some mustard. Again, this is, you could measure out probably a couple tablespoons of mustard, but I'm not going to be too worried about it. You know, add as much as you want or as little as you want. It's just going to help the mayonnaise come together a little bit better. That's what all of these ingredients basically do. We'll add our lemon zest in here as well. I didn't go crazy with the amount of lemon zest, but I just Figured if we're gonna use lemon, we might as well use lemon zest as well. Then I've got the salt and pepper. Get that in there. Again, salt and pepper is to taste. You can add more or less. Quite often with my mayonnaise recipes, I'll even add hot sauce to them, which you can do afterwards as well, obviously. And then we can add our dill in here. Again, this is just dried dill weed. Obviously, fresh dill would probably work even better, but I'm using what I have on hand, basically. So that's basically it for our ingredients. I guess we can sort of add our water into there as well. That's a tablespoon of water. And then we'll just put the lid on our mixer here. Again, this is the Ninja mixer. It's a pretty handy little unit. I like to use, I've used it for making mayonnaise before or chaffle batter, but it works pretty good. So, and it's basically just got this motor here that sits on top. So we'll plug that in, and then we'll start mixing this. We'll probably have to, mix it for a little bit and then scrape down the sides and mix it some more. So let's get started. Okay, so that was 10-15 seconds of mixing. We'll get the lid off here, and we'll just get a little spatula, scrape down the sides a little bit, make sure we get all of everything blended together well. Now this sort of reminds me, and Anita mentioned this too, of more, this would be really make a pretty good deviled egg mixture. Again, it's not your traditional type of mayonnaise recipe, which again is mostly oil and a little bit of it, or just like one egg. I've got multiple mayonnaise recipes on the channel, and the basics is like one egg and a cup of oil. So this is definitely a departure from that, but I just wanted to give it a try, see how it turns out. So scrape that down, and then we'll give this another 10 seconds, and then we should be done. Okay, so I think that's pretty much as blended as it's going to be. So let's make sure we get all of it. There's spots in the lid here that it gets stuck in, so we'll make sure we get it all out of there. Put that aside. So as you can see, it's a nice, it's definitely not white like mayonnaise, obviously, but I didn't expect it to be. And you can see lots of that nice dill in there. So let me get this out into a bowl, and then we'll see how it turned out. Okay, so here is our mayonnaise in a bowl. Like I say, this is the hard-boiled egg mayonnaise. It definitely has a nice creamy consistency, and it does really smell good with the lemon juice and the dill in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put this in the fridge for a little while, let it set up, and then we'll give it a try with some pork rinds or something, see how it tastes. Definitely looks like it turned out well. So we'll be back in a little while and we'll give it a try. Okay, so our boiled egg mayo has been in the fridge for, 45 minutes kind of thing. Still looks nice and creamy. You can see all the dill in there, and it really smells good. Now, again, I don't know how much you could really call this a mayo. It's definitely not a traditional mayo. The one nice thing about it is, you don't have any raw eggs in this recipe. So I know in the past, a lot of people have been concerned about making their own mayo with raw eggs. So you don't have to worry about that with this. So, and ultimately this is a nice palette that you could add lots of different things too. You could add, like I was saying earlier, you could put hot sauce in here. You could use pickle juice for your acid, which would give it a really nice flavor. Any kind of seasoning you want. You know, you could put some Italian seasoning or Greek seasoning. You know, like I say, it's a blank palette that you could make your own based on your taste and what you like. So we'll give this a try. I actually found out I was out of pork rinds. The brand that I like to use is this Baconette's. It's, you know, nice clean ingredients, and you know, it's easily found here in Ontario, Canada. So it's just a plain pork rind. So I figured it'd be a good way to test this mayo. So we'll grab one that we can scoop it with. As you can see, it's nice and creamy here. So we get a good amount on there, just so we can get a good idea of what the flavor is like. So let's give this a try. Yep. Doesn't taste too much like egg, but you can definitely tell that it is an egg mixture. For me, the standout flavor in this is lemon, which I really enjoy. I personally prefer lemon juice over apple cider vinegar when making mayonnaise. I just find the ACV, the taste is a little bit too overpowering. You know, that seems to be all you taste when you use it, but that's just my personal preference. So let me know what you think about the recipe. Again, this is based off of what Anita over at Ketogenic Woman did a couple of weeks ago. So I just wanted to give it a try, you know, put a little bit of a spin on it, make it my own. Again, check out her video, it'll be linked below. And that's about it for this recipe. Hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think down in the comment section below. And next week we'll be back with another chaffle recipe. So if you don't want to miss that, consider subscribing, turn on your notifications, give this video a thumbs up, and we'll see you next time. Keep on thriving, my friends.